I've just received the Brother CV3550 top cover stitch machine to have a look at. So let's go ahead and get this machine unboxed. First of all, have a look to see what's inside the box. Okay, right, so here on top we have some foam pads for the spools of thread, I would guess. This looks like an accessory box, and the foot control pedal. So that has a plug on the end, so that obviously plugs into the machine. So let's just remove the polystyrene packaging, pop that to one side. And so inside, here's the machine. So I'll take this out and put it on the table and be back with you in a moment. So I've now set up the cover stitch machine. So let's have a look around what's what. So up top here you have the antennae, and you'll have your threads there. So this particular one here is for the chain looper, and that goes through this position here, and if we open up the front we can see the thread path there. It's very straightforward to thread. There are lots of diagrams showing you the path, and the manual itself also talks you through that, as does the DVD. So if you're a visual learner, and you prefer to be shown on video, that's available to you. But if you prefer to read it, you can. But there's only one looper, and it's very straightforward. Also, while we're in here, this is where you can store your spare needles. Incidentally, it takes universal 90 needles, or ballpoint if you're using it on knit. So that's really good. You don't need any specialist needles. It comes with a pair of tweezers to help you with your threading, and the Allen key for changing the needles. So if we close that up again, it's quite simple. It slides to one side and it clicks back in place. Here on the front, these holes are for the accessories. In fact, in the accessory kit that you get with the machine, you get the two little screws that allow you to fit the various additional attachments. There are 5 different optional extras available for the machine, such as guiding you with hems and doing bias binding, belt loops and so on. So check out the website for details of those and the availability for them. So up here it looks kind of familiar. Those of you who have an overlocker, you'll recognize the tension dials, but the first one here is for the left needle, this one is for the middle needle, and this is for the right needle. This here is for the top stitch thread. So this machine will do an upper and a lower chain stitch. So this one is for the upper. As you see at the moment, that's not threaded up. But all of the threads come down through the channels and along here, down and around through the various areas here, and then threaded in the needle. So as you can see, this is currently set up as a 3-needle cover stitch. Over here on the right hand side of the machine is where the presser foot lift is. So it's very simple. Here we have the stitch length, as you'll see with the black square. The standard is a 3, but depending on what you're doing, the material that you're using, you might want to increase it or decrease it, and it just clicks in small increments that you can adjust the stitch length. This is a differential, so if you're using stretch fabrics, exactly as you would with an overlocker, you can adjust the differential feed. A standard, I think on most machines, it's sets by default at 1. Also on this machine you have a free arm, so this end comes off, and that will allow you to stitch around sleeves. So rather than stitching as you would on an overlocker traditionally on the inside of the garment, so you'd have the sleeve inside out and you'd be sewing on the right side as it were, you can actually use this rather like a sewing machine if you choose. So that just clips back on there. So also included is a little accessory box, so you get some thread nets. So if you're using particular spools of thread that unravel easily, such as rayons and so on, you can use a thread net. If you're using traditional spools, small spools, you can use these on top of those. Incidentally, if you are using those and you have a notch for where the thread is kind of notched in to when you're to stop it unraveling when you're storing it, make sure that's on the bottom. And the machine comes with these sponges, so if you aren't using cones, you can put those on there again, just to stop it unraveling unnecessarily. It also comes with the cone holders if you're using traditional overlocking thread cones. Also included in here, which is I quite like, you also get a clear cover stitch foot, and that's actually what I prefer myself, because it allows you to see the work itself. So you have the choice. It comes with both. So it comes with a traditional metal one and also a clear one, should you choose to use it, particularly with the accessories. It comes with a small lint brush, so when you need to clean out the machine, that will allow you to do that. And finally, the additional accessory that it comes with, this particular model, because it does the top cover stitch, these additional thread guides come with the machine. So this particular one clamps onto the machine at the back, clamps on here at the back. There's a bracket that it clamps onto, as you can see. There are jaws, and this other piece, which is the thread guide, as you can see here, this thread guide, and there's a clear cover there. This attaches to this area on the machine. It's all explained on the DVD and also in the manual. It's quite simple to do, and then once you've attached those, you can then thread up through this particular wheel here, through, and it comes through this path around those these areas, and what that will do is it will give you an additional cover stitch at the top. So here's an example of that. That's the cover stitch underneath the fabric, and there's the additional cover stitch along the top. You can see there's a triple stitch and an additional cover stitch on the top.